All right, welcome to the section 1 video that is focused on just like some prerequisite skills that you need to have to be successful in AP Pre-Calculus. The first is adding fractions. It goes all the way back to 5th grade, but it never goes away. That's the thing with math, it builds on itself. So let's dive in. When we add fractions, we have to have common denominators. All fractions are numerator over denominator. We can't add fractions unless the denominators are equal. So if I look here, I have 1/4 and 1/10. The denominator here is 4, the denominator here is 10. They're not the same, so I have to make them the same. I don't think the terminology matters too much here. We're looking for the least common multiple. So what numbers divides by both 4 and 10? What's the smallest possible number? You don't have to find the least common multiple. You could just find any multiple. Any multiple will work as long as you can simplify the fraction at the end. So one strategy that always works is if you just multiply these by each other, you could always use that as the denominator. So 4 times 10 is 40. So I could say, okay, 40 is my denominator for both of these. Well, 1/4 is equivalent to what fraction that has 40 as a denominator? Okay, well, what did I multiply 4 by to get 40? I multiplied it by 10. So now I need to multiply 1 by 10, and I get 10 over 40. And just a quick reasoning for why that is. So I'm multiplying 1/4 times 10 over 10. Well, 10 over 10, that's equal to, this is 1. When I multiply something by 1, I don't change it. I'm just changing how it looks. 10 over 40. So this is 10 over 40. What did I multiply 10 by to get 40? I multiplied by 4. So now I do 1 times 4 is 4. And we get 14 over 40, which I can simplify this to 7 over 20. Just to show the other way to do that real quick, the least common multiple of 10 and 4 is not 40, it's actually 20. So I could make 20 the common denominator. And the way to do that is if I count by 4s, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. And I count by 10s, well, the first number I see in both rows is 20. Okay, so that's how you find the least common multiple. Okay, so what did I multiply 4 by to get 20? By 5, so that's 5 20ths. What do I multiply 2 by to get 10 by to get 20? That's 2, so this is 2 20ths. 5 plus 2, 7 20ths. Okay. All right, so that's 7 20ths. Let's move on. I don't know why I erased that. 2/3 and 5/6. Again, you could multiply these, but that's going to be way more work. If I write out 3, 6, 9, count by 3s, count by 6s, and eventually, you guys are AP Pre-Calculus students. You won't have to do this. I don't write these out. The least common multiple between 3 and 6 is 6. I don't know why I keep erasing. So I can change this to 4/6. This already is 6. 4/6 minus 5/6 is negative 1/6. 1/3 plus 12. Well, this I can leave as a fraction, 1/3. 12, another way to say that is 36 divided by 3. Right? 36 divided by 3, that is equal to 12. And now I can just add these together. 37 over 3. 7/8 plus 1/10. Okay, well, let's make common denominators. Again, the least common multiple here is 40. Hopefully, eventually, you just get good at seeing it. But if you make it 80 on the bottom, that's fine too. You just have to simplify at the end. So 7 times 10 is 70. 1 times... this is an 8. And we get 78 over 80, or what does that simplify to? 39 over 40. All right, let's keep going. You need to be able to recognize your primary decimals. 0.25 is the same as 1/4. This is really 1/4 plus 1/8. 1/4 is the same as 2/8. So 2/8 plus 1/8 is 3/8. All right, here in number 6, I need all the denominators to be the same. So I could just multiply 3 times 5 times 2. In fact, let's just do that. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 times 2 is 30. So I'm going to put 30 on the bottom here. So it's 10 over 30. All right, 1/3, 10 over 30 are equivalent. 1/5, well, that becomes 6 over 30 minus 15 over 30. And 10, this is 16 over 30 minus 15 over 30 is 1 over 30. All right, 6 quick adding fraction questions just to make sure we're still good at that skill. All right, let's jump to factoring. So these are all in standard form, right? Standard form separates the terms with pluses and minus signs. I want to convert them to factored form. When I have a quadratic, I'm just saying what multiplies to b and adds to c. So I'm looking for two numbers that add to make 12 and multiply to make 20. That is 10 and 2. So this factors to x plus 10, x plus 2. I'm only going to do this for this one. When you redistribute, you should get this. These are equal to each other. If I graphed these two, I'd get the exact same graph or the exact same equation. Just to show you, if you distribute this, x squared plus 2x plus 10x plus 20, combine like terms, you get x squared plus 12x plus 20, right? Just to show you can go back and forth. I'm not going to do that for all of them here. But again, the answer here, let me just write it. You can see it one more time. X plus 2, x plus 10. Order does not matter, so it could also be x plus 10, x plus 2. All right, let's move on. Hopefully in pre-calc, we understand that there's a 1 coefficient in front of x. So I'm asking myself, what two numbers add to make 1 and multiply to make negative 12? That is positive 4 and negative 3. Here, the leading term has a leading coefficient of 2, so I'm going to have to factor out that 2. So I pull out the 2. I'm dividing everything by 2. So 10x becomes 5x, 12 becomes 6. And now I can factor this. 2 has to stay out here, but I have 2. What two numbers add to make 5 and multiply to make 6? That is 3 and 2. So this factors to 2 times x plus 3 times x plus 2. Okay. Here we go. Let's factor this out. I again divide out this leading coefficient of negative 3. I get x squared. Negative 33x divided by negative 3 is positive 11x. Negative 72 divided by negative 3 is positive 24. So I'm asking myself, what two numbers add to make positive 11, multiply to make positive 24? That is positive 8 and positive 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 plus 3 is 11. Okay. This time, it's not a quadratic function. All of these were quadratic functions, 1 through 4. Think in your head what kind of function this is. 3, 2, 1. It's cubic. But I can actually factor out an x. So I'm pulling an x out of all of these. So it's still cubic. But I kind of changed the form a little. This is saying x times all of this. And now I just need to factor this. Well, 3 plus 6 is 9. 3 times 6 is 18. This factors to this. And just so we're clear, if I asked you to say the zeros of this polynomial, we would set all the factors equal to 0. It didn't ask you to do it, but just so we're clear, we get x equals 0, x equals negative 3, and x equals negative 6. That's where this function will hit the x-axis. Okay. Here, I'm going to pull out both this negative 2 and my smallest x is x to the 5th. So I have negative 2x to the 5th. So this just becomes x squared, because I divided out the negative 2. I divided out 5 of the x's, leaving 2 left. This becomes minus 36, because 72 divided by negative 2 is negative 36. I pulled out all the x's, so there's none left. And then I get negative 2x to the 5th. What two numbers add to 0, because there's a 0x term, multiply to negative 36? That would be positive 6 and negative 6. And so here it is factored. Okay. Last skill you should have from Algebra 1, Algebra 2, wherever, is laws of exponents. So we're just going to rewrite these in their simplest form. Any number to the second power, that can be rewritten as 10 times 10. That's what this means. It doesn't mean 10 times 2. It means 10 times 10. That's 100. This means 5 times 5 times 5. And 5 times 5 is 25. Times 5 is 125. Okay, this means 1/2 to the 4th power. So what it means is 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. And when I multiply fractions, I can multiply straight across. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 8. Times 2 is 16. Let me fix that a little. We get 1/16. All right, any number with a negative exponent is really in the wrong place. So this should be rewritten as 1 over 11 squared. A negative exponent moves to the denominator. Well, 11 squared is 121, so it's really 1 over 121. Both of these are in the wrong place because they're both negative exponents. So this 3 moves to the bottom, becomes 3 to the first. This moves to the top, becomes 2 squared. 2 squared is 4. 3 to the first is 3. The answer here is 4/3. Any number to the 0th power is equal to 1. So 6 to the 0 is 1. Okay, fractional exponents really just mean radicals. So this is really, 10 to the 1/2 is really the square root of 10, right? There's a 2 right here in the square root. We don't really need to write it. The square root of 10 is an irrational number, so we can just leave it as the square root of 10. That does not simplify. This means 100 to the 1/2, or the square root of 100. And obviously that is positive 10 or negative 10 right there. Don't forget that it should be plus or minus 10. This last one, now we're solving. What could go here so that I know what 5 is? And so what number goes here? Well, I'm thinking, okay, 125 to the what power? It must be a fraction. Is it 1/2? Is x 1/2? No, it's not, because the square root of 125 does not equal 5. But you know what does equal 5? The cubed root of 25, right? Because this is saying what number times itself 3 times equals 125. That is 5. So what is x? It is 1/3. Okay, that is it for our foundational skills. See ya in the next video.